So up until quite recently, the most powerful antique muzzleloading propellant that we have made is with Osage Orange charcoal. Now, I know a lot of folks like to call it hedge or hedge apple. Call it whatever you want. We happen to call it Osage Orange. But that has been the most powerful powder that we have made so far. Right up until we did the cotton bedsheet powder. And we were really surprised. We were not expecting the cotton bed sheets to be the most powerful powder that we have made so far, because it outdid the Osage Orange. The Osage Orange has outdone Cottonwood, the toilet paper, all the different brands of toilet paper that we've tried, Willow, all kinds of stuff. It's been the top dog. And why the bed sheets did so well? Well, we're not quite sure. Yeah, you go ahead and speculate. But what I wanted to do was kind of do a recap of these three most recent powders that we've tested that you guys have seen. No, I'm sorry. This will be the third one. So the Alder Buckthorn, which a lot of people say is the absolute best because that's what Swiss uses, and the bed sheets. Now, what I do, and there are a lot of people that think that we just make one batch, we test it one time, and I give you guys the numbers, and that's it. I test every batch of powder that I make, every one, because a while back, and I've done it before, but the more recent one was I made a 400-gram batch of balsa, and I got out there to test it, and something was really wrong because balsa is super clean. It's the cleanest black powder that I've ever made, or that you could buy for that matter. And it was filthy dirty, and it left yellow stuff everywhere in the barrel, all over the pan. And I think what I did is I doubled the sulfur, I think is what I did. So I test every batch to make sure it's consistent, that something isn't clearly wrong. You know, one time I tested it's 1850, and the next time I tested it's 1650. Something would be clearly wrong. Typically what we see, generally speaking, is anywhere from a 20 or 30 foot per second variance from outing to outing. Of course, depending on barometric pressure, altitude, ambient temperature, and so on. But I test every batch of powder that I make. So this is a fresh batch of Osage Orange, which again was the most powerful powder that we have made up until the bed sheets. So I'll show you that, and then we'll go over all the most recent data. Now, if there's anybody that's new here, the two firearms that we always test our powders in is my 45 caliber Kibler Southern Mountain Rifle using 50 grains of 3F, a 20 thousandths patch, and a 440 swaged round ball. The revolver that I've been using a lot lately, and I do really like it, and I hate myself for liking it because it's a Remington New Army, which I've spent a lot of time talking about how I don't really care for, but it actually is a really nice pistol. It works really well. We use a Remington New Army, or a 1858 Remington, if you will, with 25 grains of 3F and a 4.54 round ball without any lube on the chamber mounts or wads or anything like that. So here's how it went. This is the primo stuff. That's what I really like. Yeah, 48 hours, 77, 13, 10, all the usual stuff.
Well, those caps sure seem to be working, bitchin'.
They seem to be working really well. I'm really happy with those. Yeah, I'd rather have them a little hard to come off than
not stay on.
Than not stay on, yeah.
100%.
I had somebody else tell me, because I mentioned in that video, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure caps back in the 1860s were beefier.
Mm.
And I had a guy say, like, I thought it was the opposite. I thought they were wimpier, like they called them foil caps, you mentioned. And I said, well, maybe I've got it backwards.
Yeah.
But
just about everything was beefier back then, well, so I figured that it would be.
After he mentioned that, I was thinking to myself, like, where did I hear that? Or did I think I heard that? Like, yeah. I don't know. Have to ask someone who knows more about that stuff than me.
Is it something that we just made up, assuming that it was going to be beefier because it's old?
Yeah, because it's old. So now we have Osage Orange, 48-hour mill, 771310, 3F, 1.75 grams per cubic centimeter, all the usual stuff. 25 grains with a 4.54 round ball. We'll see how we do here. 950. $969. 951. 882. 970.
Ooh.
999. So that stuff averaged 953.
That's good.
It is powerful stuff.
That Osage Orange, man.
Boy, it had one low shot. So it had a spread of 117. And that should not have been 882.
Yeah.
But, you know, that happens sometimes.
It does.
It still had an average of 953. It's still the most powerful stuff out of the ones that we've tested this morning.
Yep.
And actually all the other stuff too, I guess.
Yeah.
Osage Orange is still the top dog as of
Still
right
number
now.
one.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's a cap stuck right there. We go.
Remingtons don't cap jam.
I do like this thing. It's just, you have to get used to holding it to where it doesn't hammer your knuckle.
Yeah.
Still the most powerful.
Yeah. Still top dog.
I don't care if I look bad. I don't want my rifle to look bad.
Just don't want my gun looking bad.
Yeah. I already felt all guilty about talking about it up in Montana, where it's like, you know, I'm never using a 45 again. I'm gonna bring my 54 next time. A 45 is just not enough.
I know. The poor guns treated you so damn well throughout the years. And you see one doe that, you know, gets a whopping 10 yards away and it just didn't put it down fast enough.
I know.
See, Jake, what you really need is a 50 BMG.
Yeah. And we heard a guy say that. That's not a joke.
We did.
For real. If you're gonna hunt moose, you need a 50 BMG. It's like,
So it'll gut it for you?
You need a World War II anti-aircraft round to take out a moose? It's like, you know, the mountain men did it with like 60 caliber trade guns. Like, all right. Get back to work here.
Smooth bores, yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Now this is Osage Orange, which is still the reigning champion of powerful powder, at least in all of our tests.
Yeah. So far.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's always some guy on the comment section that says, "Oh no, you need to use, I don't know, old socks or something."
Bed sheets. You need to use bed sheets. Is that how we got here, Jake? Is that what happened?
I don't know how it happened. It just did. Just sit back and let it happen. Okay. Back out of here. Done. New session. Blah, blah, blah. Yes, yes, yes. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Osage Orange, 48 hours, 77, 13, 10. All the usual stuff, and we're going to aim at the far right triangle. All right, I got a new flint, so now it's going to go off every time, right? Oh, yeah. 1854.
All right.
Yep. Shot number 2 with the Osage. That's just not supposed to happen to me.
At least the pan went off though.
1825.
Okay. Is the bed sheets gonna come out on top? Power wise, at least.
At the moment, it might.
It
might.
It's catching up.
We'll see. Don't spoil it for the viewers.
Fix that in post.
All right, shot number 3. $1873.9.
That's getting up there.
Yeah, it's... Okay, last shot with the Osage Orange. $1875.
I'm gonna say it's probably somewhere in the 1850s, maybe 1840s.
Well, let's see, huh? So the Osage Orange averaged 1857 with a max spread of 50.
And what was the bed sheets?
The bed sheets.
I know the split was 17.
The bed sheets was 1889 with a max spread of 17.
Dang.
So, okay.
That's interesting.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
The freaking, wow. So the mighty Osage Orange just lost to the bed sheets.
To freaking bed sheets.
Okay.
Old ones.
Old bed sheets?
Old bed sheets. They weren't even fresh, new.
Huh. But
not by much.
In the pistol,
by 30 feet per second.
But in the pistol, the Osage Orange,
they were the same.
I thought it was a little faster.
Osage Orange was... Yes, it was. The Osage Orange, I think, was...
Yeah, not horrible.
It was averaging like 950, while the others
not horrible.
were...
I wouldn't say it's Swiss clean, but cleaner than the bed sheets.
Yeah, cleaner than bed sheets.
Cleaner than the bed sheets.
It's up there, comparable with GoX.
Oh, it's better than GoX.
Yeah.
This is better than GoX.
Yeah, okay. I'll take your word for it. I'm always used to shooting. Shoots and patches. Which
you know what we ought to sight your gun in next time? Is with all of that mixed 3F that we have.
I know, because we got a ton of it.
I got a ton of it.
Yeah, and I'll shoot that stuff all day.
Yeah,
because
we'll just make sure it's sighted in at whatever load you like, and we'll just run that. So here's our Alder Buckthorn. It had 2 on there, and then those over there were probably just me floating in the breeze. So there you are. So here's our bed sheet powder. 1, 2, 3, 4, all pretty good. Interesting how it hit a little bit lower. That's usually right where I'm aiming, is a 6 o'clock hold, and that's all right where they went. So can't complain too much about that. So here's our Osage Orange, and kind of spraying them all around, but that's probably just me, because as far as the velocity spread goes, it's pretty tight. So if you wanted to bench it, I imagine it'd probably be way better than that. So in the revolver, the 3F Swiss averaged 932 with a max spread of 108. Now, Swiss should not have 100 foot per second spread. As you can see, it has one high shot of 1,015. What happened there was I got some 440 and some 454 round balls mixed up. and I had put the powder charge in, and I dropped the 440 round ball in there, and it fell right in there. And so I had to turn it upside down and knock all of it out. There might have been a little bit of powder left, but just to show you guys all the numbers, I'm not going to exclude any shots. If you want to calculate it that way, you can. I did try it before I came out here and filmed this. It actually doesn't change the overall outcome of what powder is more powerful. It just changes the average a little bit. So in the revolver with 25 grains, the Swiss averaged 932 with a max spread of 108. If you do want to exclude that shot, it brings it down to, I think, 65 or something. The Alder Buckthorn in the revolver averaged 933 with a max spread of 26. Very consistent, still very powerful. The Cotton Bedsheet averaged 924 with a max spread of 65. I would call that practically the same. And the Osage Orange averaged 953 with a max spread of 117. Now, the interesting thing about this, it does have a 100 foot per second spread, much like the Swiss did, but where the Swiss had a high shot that seemed out of place, this has a low shot that seems out of place with 882. So again, if you want to exclude it, it still doesn't change the overall outcome. So 953. So here's all four of them next to each other. We can see that the Swiss and the Alder Buckthorn are, for all intent and purpose, exactly the same. The Osage Orange still runs a little bit faster, but again, it's got a pretty wide spread along with Swiss. The Cotton Bedsheet, being the slowest of these four in the pistol at 924, ends up being the fastest in the rifle. But still, all of these being right in the mid to low nines, I don't think that's, to quote the great Paul Harrell, enough of a difference to really make a difference. As far as the rifle is concerned, with the 3F Swiss, we got an average of 1840.9. You could call it 1841. It doesn't bother me. With a max spread of 68. Damn powerful and damn respectable. The Alder Buckthorn averaged 1808 with a max spread of 37. Very, very clean. I would say it was cleaner than Swiss, at the very least just as clean. Excellent performance from the Alder Buckthorn, but a little bit slower, which I was a little surprised to see, but not terribly. The Cotton Bedsheet, and this was the one that really surprised us, 1889 with a max spread of 17. Anytime we have a shot that's over 1900 foot per second, which the max shot on this was 1901, we're excited because that's moving. That is really, really powerful powder. And then finally, the Osage Orange averaged 1857 with a max spread of 50.5. Powerful. Practically is the same as Swiss. Excellent, excellent powder. But one thing I can tell you that I did notice, the Osage is not as clean as Swiss. It's not dirty, filthy like Schutzen or Goex, but it's just not as clean. So here's all of them laid out. We could see that the Swiss and the Osage, practically the same. The Buckthorn, a little bit slower, not terribly. But the surprising deal to us was the Cotton Bedsheet. We have not had anything average 1889 so far. That is the fastest powder that we have made. So after I make a batch of powder, and we do go out and test it, and most of the time we'll just check it in the backyard. We don't haul all of our stuff out to the pasture just to make sure it's close enough. What's close enough? Generally, we see about a 20 to 25, sometimes 30, again, depending on, ambient temperature, humidity, and barometric pressure, and so on. But generally speaking, I don't like to see more than a 30 foot per second variance in powders that I'm familiar with. For example, I have had Osage Orange run in the 1870s. To get 1850 some odd here and have one time it shoots 1870, Totally acceptable. No problem at all. I'm totally fine with that. As far as the paper targets, I will completely admit that this is probably a time when I would and should be bench resting it. I don't think I've ever had Osage Orange look that bad on paper. So maybe if you guys talk me into it, I'll actually bench rest it and put it on paper and show you guys that it actually can and does shoot really well. Again, the bed sheet there, it had the best group, and it's the dirtiest. The trouble with the bed sheets, even though it is the new powerful powder, is it is dirty. It is dirty. I don't know if it shoots in dirty, but it reminds me of GoX. I don't use Schutzen. I try not to use Schutzen. I think Schutzen is absolutely filthy powder. You guys hear me pick on GoX a lot, but I don't even usually deal with Schutzen. Sorry to sound like a jerk. So I hope you guys found that entertaining or useful in some way. I usually get comments from folks saying like, oh, I wish you would, put them all online, put all your data online or something so we could see it, and look at it. Well, I'm not about to do that. The best you could do is to take a screenshot of the numbers right there if you're interested. So as far as other things we have going on, we have some heel-based cartridge conversion stuff for 36 caliber cap and ball revolvers. Heel-based stuff is interesting. In the world of powder tests, let's see, we have the wet mill. This is some stuff we made wet, which went better than the first time. So that was good. And then we have, this will be fun, lead media versus brass media. I still haven't gotten over doing that. So you guys will be seeing that stuff coming up throughout the next, 4 or 5 weeks or so. So as usual, folks, if you thought this video didn't suck, do me a favor and hit the like button and consider subscribing. And if you did think it sucked, go make your own damn video.